Good morning. Today is Thursday, July 21st, and it is day 151. Took a zero yesterday. Stayed at an Airbnb with Neo's parents, and today they are helping us slack pack over the Kinsmans because there are some thunderstorms projected to come in a little later on this afternoon. So we are going to try to hustle these 17 miles to get over this mountain. And they're slack packing us, which is always a wonderful thing. So I didn't record at all yesterday during our zero day because I was just relaxing and enjoying my zero. However, yesterday was day 150, which is the official 5-month mark for me on this trail. And despite all that I have gone through throughout this hike, I've still been able to make a pretty decent pace. You know, at this point, I've taken at least a full month of zeros. So the rest of that time, the other 4 months, were just me hiking from Georgia to now New Hampshire. So I'm proud of myself for that. I'm proud of myself for always listening to my body, doing what I feel is best for me. I'm proud of myself for not trying to overdo it, not comparing myself to anyone, not trying to keep up with anyone, not trying to prove anything. Like, y'all know who I am, and I don't need to put on for nobody. So that's a pretty solid feeling, although I'm still very much overwhelmed with feelings of wanting to be done with this. Everyone keeps telling me, oh, you're in the whites. This is the best part. New Hampshire and Maine are the most beautiful states on the entire AT. And at this point, I just don't care. I don't care. I like looking at the whites, but I don't like being in them. And I don't like climbing up these mountains. And I don't like waking up every day and having to walk. And I don't like being surrounded by 95% white people anymore. Like, I want to go home. I want to be around my people. I want to turn up. I want to have a good time. I want people who understand me and where I'm coming from. Like, I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of this experience. And that's just me being honest. I wanted to quit, but I decided to keep going because I've come this far and because I know there are a lot of people out there who want or possibly even need to see someone like me finish, even if I don't really care to see it for myself. So that's pretty much the main reason why I'm still going. That and Nate El Chapo Loftus deserves to reach Maine finally. So I'm gonna make sure I get him there. And yeah, you know, at a certain point I was like, we need to add another black face to the lineup of Katahdin photos, but I don't even really care about that anymore. Like, I just don't care. The sooner this hike is over, the sooner I can put it deep down into the furthest depths of my mind where I never have to think about it or come back to it again, the sooner I can move on to some other shit. That's all I'm concerned with. But today we're a little pressed for time because it's supposed to start storming around 12 noon. It's 8:30 now. We've got 17 miles to get up and over Kinsman Peak. And I have a funny feeling that it's going to start storming right as we approach the summit, which I'm not too excited about that. So, as much as I don't want to be doing this, I'm kicking it in the high gear today so I can get up and over this mountain and back down to a lower elevation where it's a little safer. And then I think Neo's parents are going to take us back into Lincoln, where we'll either stay at a hostel tonight or get a hotel room. So that's the plan, and that's where I'm at currently mentally. Still got a little ways to go, but here's a little something to start off the day. So I kind of just realized that I never addressed the whole Gary situation. And it's not even really a situation, but I believe in a previous video where I had caught back up to Gary, and I pretty much said that he and I would likely finish this through hike together. And now all of a sudden I'm with Prof, Neo, and Gumby. And I realize that I keep doing this thing where I'll say something and then circumstances will change a little bit, and then I won't like remember to go back and update you all. But basically, when I got off trail in Rutland to go up to Burlington for a couple days, Gary kept hiking. And so I told him that I was just gonna have to catch up to him. And I just don't think I've caught up to him yet. He's texted me a couple of times to let me know where he is in his little itinerary. And, you know, I'm not about to kill myself to try to catch back up to him, especially as he continues hiking north. Like, the Whites is not a place to be trying to catch up to somebody if they're not gonna like sit and wait for you a couple days or do like really slow miles. I don't think he's too far ahead of me, but I'm just not quite sure where he is exactly. And I'm not quite sure what's gonna happen when I catch up to him. I mean, I have a pretty good feeling he's gonna want to go back to like hiking and trying to plan with me. But I'm also now planning with Prof, Neo, and Gumby. So maybe I'll just try to see if he can like join our group a little bit. Might be a little awkward, but I don't know. We'll have to see. But yeah, I just wanted to like let y'all know I didn't ditch him to hang with this group or anything. I just took a bunch of zeros and he did not. They are really going to town with those weed whackers. Guess what we get to climb? That.
Yay!
Ugh. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh my God, y'all, look at this. Ew, that's so nasty. And look how deep it goes. Ew. It's so gross. All right, we gotta go for it. 1, 2, 3. Okay. What now? I think we're just gonna go for it. 1, 2, 3. Woo! All right. Oh, that was the most fun of this entire hike. It's like, just kidding. Ooh. That looks like the summit right up there, just a mile away. Just made it to the southern peak of Mount Kinsman. Once again, we can see nothing. So we are 0 for 2 in the whites so far, which is just fabulous. Pretty soon. 0 for 3. Oh yeah. Going over the north peak. Whew. Clouds are rolling in pretty fast. Thunderstorms are on the way, so we gotta hurry up and get off this thing. Prof and Neo especially gotta hurry up and finish coming up so that we can get down. But let's see, what time is it? It's 12:12. Storms are supposed to start in about 15 minutes. Cutting it pretty close. Clouds are following us. Here they come.
Is that the ski hill at the top right there?
I don't see a hill.
That little like box.
Oh, that is something up there. Welcome to Lonesome Lake. Just past Lonesome Lake Hut, but we are not staying there. At this point, we're only 3 miles away from the parking lot. We successfully made it up and over Kinsman without getting caught in the storm, which actually wasn't really a bad storm. It was quite calm. I mean, obviously you can hear the thunder, but we don't see any lightning. A little bit of rain came down, but just a nice little sprinkle. And it seems to be passing now, so it's a pretty solid day indeed. And as I mentioned before, Neo's folks are gonna pick us up down in the parking lot and take us to the hostel where we're gonna stay tonight. Oh, this is so nice. Oh Jesus, I just fell off the boardwalk. Look at me, looking at the sights, not paying attention. Let's try this again. Oh, look at this, this is so nice.
Oh. There's no bike park here.
Also a while.
There were wild. Did you see the thing I sent you yesterday?
Today we've got Franconia Ridge, which is supposed to be one of the highlights of the Whites. I'm just feeling pretty whatever today, so we'll just see how it goes. All right, so we are 3.5 miles in on the day, and it was basically all just a climb to get up to the junction where we will begin walking along Franconia Ridge. But before we do that, Neo, Gumby, and I have decided to drop our packs and take this little side trail, which is 3/10 of a mile, and it'll take us up to Liberty Peak. So some people have a goal of like trying to reach the top of every 4,000 footer. So for some people, it's important to take these little side trails when they can, to just keep adding to their count, especially because some of these are a bit more challenging to get to in this wilderness area. I don't really care. Peak bagging isn't really a goal of mine, but I hear that you get some pretty nice views of Franconia Ridge, so I'm coming up to check it out, and it's a beautiful day, so we should have some pretty solid views. I'm just glad we get to drop our packs for this because it was a long climb coming up. Wasn't nearly as bad as Kinsman yesterday, but it was bad enough with a full pack on today. All right, let's see what the view is giving. this is the summit of Liberty Peak. Right up behind me, that is Franconia Ridge. So we're going to be going up and over that today. We've got some pretty killer 360 views. Just want to make sure I don't fall or get blown over by the wind. So yeah, welcome to the Whites. Very exciting stuff, isn't it? Yeah. Cool.
Did you want to be a teacher? Or sort of fell into it?
Good morning, all. Today is Saturday, July 23rd, day 153 And the first order of business today is to make it down this steep, wet, rocky descent without falling. My spirits are lifted today compared to the last several days, and it is another beautiful day in the whites. So let's make it happen. Hey everyone, I hope you all are doing well. I'm actually in much better spirits today than I have been in several days at least. So it's like still the same shit where it just feels like everybody's racing to be the first one to leave like a shelter site or a campsite. Everybody's trying to hurry up and get to the next place, or maybe because people know that the terrain is going to be difficult, that they want to get as early of a start as possible. And I'm still just like one of the small few who just doesn't really give a fuck. So I get up, I take my time, and I'm watching everybody scramble around me. Like they're shoving their shit into their packs. They're barely eating breakfast, barely chewing their food at breakfast. Sometimes they're just like grabbing a bar and they just start walking. And I'm like, all right, cool. If that's what works for you, go right ahead. But I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna take my time eating this oatmeal. I'm going to sip my coffee. I'm gonna pack up my stuff. I'm going to use the privy, and since all of you are in a race to get out of here, I never have to wait to use the privy, or if I do, it's quite rare. So I'm just chilling. Like, at this point, we know the terrain is gonna be hard, like every day. Y'all see how slow I'm moving now because it's steep and rocky and I don't want to fall. And I currently am only using one hand and my phone is in the other hand. But I don't know. I don't know what it is, and I don't know why. I just feel so like othered in this environment. But I did have a really nice conversation with the caretaker back at that shelter site. Her name is Trix. She's through hiked the AT, she's through hiked the PCT, and she kind of had a similar attitude as myself as far as all this is concerned. Funny enough, we actually got off on the wrong foot when I initially ran into her yesterday. She was scooping poop out of the privy, and I think I scared her a little bit and I caused her to drop some poop on her shoe. So she was not happy with me in that moment, but I apologized, and then she came back and apologized for like not being in the best mood in that moment. And I was like, trust me, I get it. But we got into a really nice conversation this morning, and she was telling me, yeah, when I through hiked, like I never started before like 8 or 9 a.m. Whereas everybody else is like jumping up at the crack of dawn, getting out. And I'm just like, who cares? Who cares if you're not the first one at a shelter site? Who cares if there's no more room in the shelter? Like, that's what your tent is for. Granted, I do need to figure out how to set up my trekking pole tent on one of these wooden platforms, because they don't really have tent spots in the ground anymore. But still, like, if a site is full, just keep going to the next one or go find a stealth site somewhere. Like, why is it that big of a deal? I mean, I don't know. It's just like, it's so weird. I feel like I don't fit anywhere. And like, I get to talking to people And it seems like, well, I sort of have this theory that because there are, like, now all of these hiker YouTube channels, I think there's this, like, similar idea of, like, how to be a thru hiker or how to do this. And I think everybody just sort of buys into that similar idea. And so everyone comes out here doing the same shit. And it almost seems robotic. It's like, why are we making this shit into a job? I'm the one with the YouTube channel and I'm the one who's posting constantly on social media. Like, if it's a job for anybody, it's a job for me. But I'm still just trying to have fun with this. I don't care. This is a thru hike. Ain't nobody getting paid for this. People are just so regimented. Even the group that I'm hiking with now, and I enjoy them, and I'm appreciative that they are some of the only people on trail who have made me feel welcome and made me feel like a part of this experience, I mean. But I'm still just kind of the odd man out, doing my own thing. And no one really seems to share my ideas, my practices, and it is what it is. Talking to Trix, she seemed to have a similar perspective as me. So I feel like I could thru hike with her and have no problem, but you know, I don't know. Still just taking it one day at a time, getting closer to Katahdin. And, you know, I don't want to hate this as much as I've been hating it. It's just very hard when you feel like there's no one like you around. But I just wanted to say that I'm feeling better than yesterday. Yesterday we summited Liberty Mountain, which was a 0.3 side trail. It was worth it. We did Franconia Ridge, which included Mount Lafayette, Mount Lincoln, and Little Haystack. That was a pretty neat exposed section up on the ridge line, even though yesterday I was just pretty much in a bad mood the whole day, so I really didn't appreciate it. I haven't been appreciating much, to be honest, but again, I'm trying to turn that around, so we'll see how that goes. All right, later. Today, I'm focused on appreciating where I am and what's around me. I'm extremely fortunate to be here, and for a long time, I lost sight of that. But I'm coming back to it, and I'm not letting it go. Just stopped for a minute back at Galehead Hut. So one thing about these huts, typically in order to stay in one, you have to reserve a spot for yourself, and they are pretty pricey. I think it could be anywhere around like $100 a night just for you. But for thru hikers, they will sometimes cut you a deal where they will let you do a work for stay. especially for northbound hikers, where they know that by this point in the hike, a lot of us have used up a good chunk of our savings and we don't have a whole lot of money to play with. Well, I would say a good amount of people, not everybody. But so rather than paying to stay there, they'll just have you do some light chores for 2-3 hours, and then you get a free stay, which mostly you'd be sleeping on the floor. The beds are for people who actually pay to stay there. But I think it's a good deal. And even if you don't stay in one of the huts, if you just so happen to walk into a hut in the morning, like anytime after like 8 o'clock, 8:30 in the morning, a lot of the times the huts will have leftover food from breakfast. And so you can just pay a few dollars and eat some food. So a lot of people stopped at Galehead to eat. Me personally, I'm not much of a fan of cold leftovers, so I didn't really want to eat cold oatmeal and cold pancakes. So I just had some hot chocolate, sat for a few minutes, and now I'm climbing up South Twin Mountain, which, as y'all can see, is just as steep and rocky and difficult as any other climb in the Whites. But just taking it slow and steady at my own pace, because that's really all you can do in the Whites without like falling and hurting yourself. I told y'all I was gonna start showing y'all what these climbs look like and how brutal they are. And with me already having 1,830 something miles under my legs, like, this shit is exhausting. And you see how much further I still have to go? Way up there. And because these climbs are so steep, you're not really covering much distance laterally. So as long and steep as this climb is, I've only been traveling like not even a full mile by the time I get to the top of it. And that sucks, because it feels like you're putting all this work in, exerting all this energy, and at the end of the day, you've gone like nowhere. But thankfully, this is the only major climb of the day today, and it's less than a mile long, so I'm about halfway up now. And I'm just gonna have to go down something just as steep on the other side, but then the rest of the day is looking pretty smooth. And we actually have a flattish section today for like 5 miles, which is a godsend in the Whites. And that'll be the end of the day. So I'm very happy about that. We're only doing about 14.5 miles today to get to Ethan Pond Shelter. I've already done like 3.5 miles. So that's why I wasn't so pressed to get out super early today like everybody else. So yeah, I'm gonna finish this climb and then we will continue on with the day. Made it to the summit of South Twin. Thank God I don't have to go over North Twin. But if you all look straight ahead to that really tall mountain just to the right of that guy's head, I believe that is Mount Washington. So I should be starting that ascent tomorrow. Y'all can't tell me this isn't cool. I guess it's true what they say about New Hampshire. It is hard, but it is also worth it. Oh, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. You know, if there was ever a day to run into me on trail, it would probably be today. So I have been feeling so good, and I think that energy has just been radiating out because I have had the best interactions with literally everyone who I've come across. Day hikers, other through hikers, like everybody. And I even caught up to Gary, even though I think I'm gonna be hiking a little bit past him today. He's made reservations at all of the huts, which is rather expensive, as I mentioned earlier. So I'm not really planning to stay at any if I have to pay for it. But I think I'm gonna be teaming up with him again fairly soon. Mount Washington is coming up in the next day or two, but it's all dependent on the weather forecast. It's not looking too good for like the next couple days. So I learned several weeks ago what could happen if you are not extremely cautious when it comes to Mount Washington. Not gonna go too deep into this, but there was a gentleman who just passed away on Mount Washington a few weeks back of hypothermia. From what I hear, he was very ill-equipped, did not have any extra layers, extra gear, and the weather can turn at the drop of a dime at that elevation. And apparently that's what happened with him. And yeah, he lost his life, unfortunately. And I cannot let that be me. So I am going to play it smart. And if I do not have a perfect weather day, I'm not going over Mount Washington. And there are no ifs, ands, or buts about that, to be honest. So yeah, I'm not quite sure what I'm doing today anymore. The original plan was to go to Ethan Pond Shelter with the group, but then I thought about possibly hiking all the way down to Crawford Notch, which would add maybe like 4 or 5 more miles to the day. The group was going down there anyway tomorrow morning to get a ride into town to resupply and then getting a ride back to trail. But I figured if I could just get down there tonight, then I wouldn't have to worry about jumping up first thing in the morning. But I'm not sure how that's looking. May still do it anyway and just try to find a hotel or something to stay in. Or I hear there's a general store that you can camp at, but I'm not quite sure. So we'll have to play it by ear and see. Y'all, this is insane. So right up there, straight ahead, is South Twin, which we literally just were standing at the top at. And then as we pan to the left, that pointy mountain now in the center of the frame is Garfield, which we went over and pretty much slept on yesterday. As we continue to the left, the really tall ridge line up there is Franconia Ridge, which we walked along yesterday. So Lafayette, Lincoln, and Little Haystack. Then as we keep moving to the left, One of those two little tiny ones is Liberty, which we summited yesterday. Man, that's crazy. It's just a big old loop. All right, so I'm a little more than 3 miles away from Ethan Pond Shelter. So the day is almost over. I just took a little quick break at Zealand Hut. And the rest of this trail section should be pretty flat and easy. At least flat-ish. So I'm ready to get settled. I'm ready to lay down. And honestly, I'm ready to go to sleep. 14 miles in the whites feels like 20 miles everywhere else. All right, so 14 miles on the day are done. Finally made it to Ethan Pond Shelter. Well, this is Ethan Pond. Shelter's a little further down this side trail. This is a beautiful campsite. And I'm exhausted, Lord Jesus. Well, I had questions as to how I would get my tent set up on one of these wooden platforms, because this is the only way that you can really tent in New Hampshire. It is so raggedy, but we made it work. Y'all see how smart I am? Look at that. Staked in, tied off. We got rocks holding down the sides and the front. You know, this is as good of a job as we're gonna get. I'm proud of myself. And I'm ready for bed.
Okay, I'm going to go get my nail clippers because.
Oh, it says I'm connected. Okay.
Yes.
I think it would be.
I'll be back. Why am I wearing sandals though? This hurts.
Good morning. Today is Sunday, July 24th, day 154. It is now time to leave Ethan Pond campsite. And today we will begin our ascent up the most dangerous mountain on the entire AT, that being Mount Washington. So let's make it happen. All right, so I've done about 2.5, close to 3 miles so far this morning. Stopping at this parking lot because one of Neo's friends is coming to pick us up. Before we can start making our way up Mount Washington, we need to pop into town to do a quick resupply first. So I'm the first one here because I was the first one to leave camp this morning, which is a surprise. But yeah, when everyone else gets here, we'll get picked up, go into town, pick up some more food, and then get dropped back off at the trailhead here. And then we'll start making our way up the ascent to Washington. So we're not really planning to summit today because it's a pretty long and, from what I hear, strenuous hike up. And we're gonna have full food bags. So our plan for the rest of the day is to do another like 7.5 miles and stop at a hut. And then if the weather is okay tomorrow, we will continue on up to the summit of Washington tomorrow. But I think there are some chances of thunderstorms, and because it's so dangerous up there, if there are any reports of bad weather, you should not try to summit Washington. So we may not be summiting until Tuesday. We'll just have to play it by ear and see how everything goes. But for now, I'm gonna wait for everyone else to get here. So I'm not sure if we're getting picked up from this parking lot or another one that's just a little bit further down the driveway here. So I'll see in a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
We should eat.
we all calculated. We went to bed around 1 and we woke up around 3:30.
Did you camp here or?
No, we drove
I
up
drove
from
up
Mass.
this, yeah, well, yeah. I need to get my hours because I'm on my permit right now, so I'm trying to get hours to get,
She's like, I need nighttime driving hours.
yeah.
All right, let's go really early.
Driving on 2 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you all saw, we received a little bit of trail magic at the parking lot. After that, Neo's friend showed up, took us into town so we could resupply. And now we are back on trail and starting this ascent. It is very hot and our bags are full of food, and none of us really want to do this, especially not me. Oh my God, this climb is so hard. But at the same time, this view is so cool. I'm about 2/3 of the way up. I'm exhausted and I want to die. But if y'all look down there, that's the parking lot where we started. And it's so far away now. Oh boy. So this little section of trail that we are moving into today is known as the Presidentials, and a lot of the peaks that we are about to be going over for the next couple of days are named after, obviously, former presidents. So I know I said that we would be going up and over Washington. That probably won't be until either tomorrow or Tuesday, depending on the weather. But before we can start that ascent up Washington, we first have to go up and over Webster, which is this climb that we're currently doing. And then right after Webster, I think, is Jefferson. And then after Jefferson, I think it's Washington. And it's about 26 miles or so, this mountain range. And some people will come up to hike just this little section, which is known as the Presidential Traverse. I'm tired. And I'm not carrying this phone all the way up this mountain. So I can't breathe. And I will see y'all at the top. So at this point, I made it over Webster and Jackson. think earlier I said Jefferson, but I was wrong. I'm also tired and dead, so this is my ghost speaking.
So, at family, they started like knowing the city planner in Portland. We're just like, well, we can try and like get to this hut.
You just keep trying.
Done for the day.
They're just like, I don't know, we set like a small goal and a big goal, and then it ends up being a big goal.
Whatnot.
It's so funny.
We're not good for each other.
No, we're compatible.
Okay, so this is night number 2. Setting up on these wooden platforms. I think I've got it down now, which takes a little bit of stress off because I wasn't sure how I was going to do this before. But I am ready for bed. I'm exhausted. So I will see y'all in the morning. Good morning, y'all. Today is Monday, July 25th, day 155. It's about 5:45 a.m. and the weather is terrible today. It's been raining all night, all morning, and as I'm packing up, I can hear thunder in the distance, but it is slowly getting closer. So we kind of made the decision yesterday that we are not going to be subbing Mount Washington today. As I mentioned yesterday, Mount Washington is not the mountain to try your luck or take any chances, because your luck will run out and it is possible to die. So I'm all packed up finally. Neo and Prof have already gone back down to Mitzpah hut, and I'm gonna head down there too to eat breakfast. And our only plan for today is to move about 4.5 miles to get to Lake of the Clouds hut, which is just shy of Mount Washington summit. I am a little nervous about that plan because I'm not sure how exposed it'll be between here and there, and we definitely do not want to be above tree line in this weather at all. So yeah, we'll have to see. But I'm not gonna waste any more time. I'm getting wet. I need to get down into the hut where it's dry and where it's not thundering, because I mean, look at the sky. It is so gray. And yeah, this is dangerous. So I'll see y'all in a bit. Okay, so it's about 11 o'clock now. We have been waiting and waiting and waiting all morning for a break in the clouds, and it looks like we finally have our opportunity. Again, we are not summiting Mount Washington today because it's too dangerous, but we are going to push another 4.7 miles to get to Lake of the Clouds hut. So that is the final hut before the summit of Mount Washington. And we've been so hesitant to move on today because Lake of the Clouds is above tree line, and we really did not want to be above tree line with the weather looking the way that it has been today. But we're just gonna make a big push for it now, just so that we can get there. And we heard that they have like an emergency shelter or a basement bunker or something like that, and we're just planning to pay the $10 to sleep down there tonight. Our only other option today would be to stay here at Mitzpah hut, but unfortunately we would have to camp out on those wooden platforms again, and we don't want to do that. So it's about time to go. Wish us luck, And let's hope that no other hikers are there, because the bunker only has space for about 6 people. And there are 6 of us who are deciding to move on right now. So let's do this. All right, this is it. We are in the Alpine zone, getting closer to the summit. And for the next 12 or so miles, we will be above tree line, which is why it's so important to exercise as much caution as possible. You do not want to get stuck up here where you're just exposed and ill-prepared. So I think we've got a pretty smart plan just going to the next hut. And I'm very glad to be with others rather than by myself. So collectively, we can all play it safe together. So Mount Washington is directly in front of us, and you can't even see it because it's covered in clouds, which is probably the clearest sign that we don't need to be going up there today. That is insane.
Is there a place anywhere?
They have the camp.
There's a pretty view of the Washington Mountain Hotel and Resort. I'll zoom in a little bit so you can really see that little resort down there. It looks really nice down there. You can actually see stuff. Up here, we're pretty much just in the clouds. That's still where we have to go. But we took a little detour to knock out a couple of the other residentials. So we have just reached the summit of Eisenhower. God, I can't believe that we are about to walk up into this. This looks so crazy. Wow. All right, so we are just a mile away from Lake of the Clouds hut. From my understanding, we just need to go over these 2 humps, and then the hut sits right in the little valley after the second one. This is insane. Okay, so we knocked out Eisenhower, Monroe. I'm not sure if we did Pierce or not. I'm so confused. It's crazy windy up here. Look at all the clouds. Washington is somewhere up there. And we're pretty close to the hut, so I can't wait to get there. I hope they have some soup because I'm starving. This is fun. I can't lie. I'm ready to go. Look, there's the hut! I'm so excited. So hungry. And it looks pretty nice. We made it. We're here. Done for the day. We did have to buy bunks because this place was booked up. But that's okay, because I get fried chicken for dinner and a whole stack of pancakes. The perks of paying $170 to stay in a hut is you get real food. They gave me mint chocolate chip cake. Yeah. It's my favorite.